thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a knitting tutorial, but a means to have something playing in the background while you work on your own knitting project. If you're like me and really enjoy YouTube, you find that a lot of the videos you like to watch are very visually engaging, and you're several hours into your own project and haven't gotten nearly as far into your project as you would have liked because you've been watching videos so much. So this is a solution to that. Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am actually working on a Tempestry project that is designed to be a kind of like a global climate change awareness project that is very communal or community involved, and I will link to the Ravelry pattern that you can download, and I'll also link to the Etsy site where where you can purchase the Tempestry project kit that comes with all of the yarn measured out for you. And this is a crochet pattern option as well as a knit option, and you can do a garter stitch or a linen stitch if you'd like to work on this project. So this is, I checked my history, this is the third time that I will be showing you guys this project, and you can see that I've made quite a bit of progress since my last video, and I'm at a happy point here because I'm now into the section where the colors aren't going to change a lot because it's really hot where I'm knitting. So this is Borny, Texas in 2018, and the holiday that I'm making this for is actually an anniversary present for my partner's cousin, who will be celebrating his 1-year anniversary with his wife in October of this year. So I wanted to get them or make them a little something special to commemorate the day and the year that they got married. So it's Texas and it's generally hot, and the bottom is the early January months, and so the end of the year is going to be at the top of the project, and then of course the beginning of the year is at the bottom. And it's just a nice wall hanging, I suppose you call it that, tapestry. And so let's get started. And I don't want to feel rushed, but my partner is picking up some Little Caesars for us to eat for lunch, I guess, since it's already a little bit after the noon hour, and I wasn't expecting that, but they were already out during the day. I was going to get ready to film, and then they sent me a message and said, hey, download the Little Caesars app because we'll get a free 2-liter with our purchase for your first purchase using the app. And they were already in the area and said, hey, why not? So the Tempestry project, if you're not familiar with it, you get a chart basically that lists every single day in the year that you choose, and it also records every row is the highest temperature recorded for that day. So you have 365 days in the year, you have 365 rows, and the highest temperature is, of course, what the color is you knit for the row. This is using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes yarn, so that every color is about a 4 or 5 degree temperature difference. So depending on the area you live or the area you choose to record, it could be a very big difference or it might not be at all. So I am now into June 5th is the row that I'm going to knit now, and I am using the color red. And actually for this portion of the video, I'm only knitting with these two colors. So this is red and this is cranberry, and for a little section, well actually a pretty big section, it's going to be like 1 row of this, 2 of this, 5 of this, something like that. So a combination of the two. And these are my favorite parts because then I don't have to cut my yarn a lot. And if you've watched my other videos about the Tempestry project, especially the first one, you know that I haven't quite figured out how to carry my yarn, so I've been cutting at the end of each one and kind of lightly knotting where 2 colors join so that I don't lose my stitch at the end. So here we are, and for this one I'm only knitting 1 row of red and then 2 of cranberry. So we'll get right in. And I want to apologize that today's Saturday. I had almost had been able to upload the video I shot yesterday on Friday, but when I went to watch it again, I noticed that the first few minutes of the video was in poor quality, like the last Tempestry Project video I knit and recorded, and I looked at the original footage I had that was not yet posted to YouTube, and the quality's fine. So somewhere in the uploading process, the quality of the first part of the video and the Tempestry video I recorded last, I think it was like the first 12 or 14 minutes, is just like kind of grainy looking, but the original footage is fine. So I'm debating if I want to re-upload that one or not, but I probably will just leave it. I did pin a comment to let you guys know that I don't know what happened there, but for some reason the last video I was going to upload was the same way, so I didn't publish it. I'm re-uploading it as we speak, so hopefully it'll be finished either tonight or tomorrow, and then I can work on this one. So bear with me, but if it's still not great after the second try, I think I'll just call it good. I would just rather have it available to you guys because the original footage is fine. There's no quality issues at all, so I guess it's something on YouTube's side that is messing it up. So, but here we are. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that we're in the summer part, because it's just going to be really hot there for a long time, so I don't have to switch my colors as frequently, or at least worry about really big color jumps. And it's kind of cool to see. It's like the weird temperature changes in the earlier part of the year, and then the consistently hot days in the summer part, and then probably during the rest of the year as well, till you get back into like October, and pretty much like I think October through December is when it gets weird again. So I'll cut this one because I only needed one row of that. And I have my pen, so I'll keep track of what row I'm on. So now I have 2 of cranberry. And I'll get started with this guy. I have to be careful, even though I'm on the couch. As we know, sometimes the yarn likes to roll around, and I don't have like a yarn bowl to keep them, so they just kind of do their own thing while they're out here with me. And do one more, and then I'm going to pull this yarn just a little bit, so that red yarn was a little bit loose there. Okay. Alright, so now we can keep going. So what are your plans for this Saturday? I guess this is coming from the future, so this Saturday past, what did you do, or what do you plan to do in the upcoming week? Any special projects? Any vacation days? Any traveling plans that you have? As I mentioned in my last video, which will be posted before this one, I will have some time off at the end of next week and through the week after. So I'm really excited to knit some more with you guys and visit a yarn shop or two and just relax, kind of brace myself for the craziness that's going to come not very long after I'm back to work. So thank you for spending my vacation with me. I'll say thank you in advance, because it's always nice to know there are other people who, when they have the opportunity to knit, that's what they want to do, and that's what I want to do. Everyone's like, oh, are you going to travel? Are you going to visit your family? And I'm like, no. I mean, I had to use the vacation, but it was like kind of one of those last minute things where if I don't use it, I lose it, and I had just a little bit of a lull between a couple things that we're transitioning into, and I said, okay, this is the time, I just got to do it, and, you know, play it by ear, but I already kind of know, considering my my habits, that I'm not going to do anything too crazy, and even going into the city to visit friends is pretty extreme for me. So if I can finish at least one project all the way, I'd be so happy, so then I can start a new one and show you guys. And I looked at my knit picks package I got. It came in yesterday, and they had like a 20% off. They had a 20% off sale, and I just got a little bit more yarn and another pattern book, and it was for socks. And I looked through it last night while I was supposedly uploading a video that I thought was going to be posted by today, and they're all women's socks, and I don't think I remember seeing that in the description of the pattern book. And they're all set to be a medium, women's sock medium, so like a size in the 8.5 foot, US 8.5, and I was like, okay. I mean, they're all very pretty socks. A lot of them are very, very heavy on patterns, so I'm going to be challenged, and I'm excited about that. But I did see on, I think it was yarn.com, that they had a yarn conversion chart. So I guess depending on what size foot you need, it would tell you the length you needed to knit it to. So I think I'll just do that, because not everybody I knit for is a size 8.5 in women's. Some people are smaller, and some are men. And if there's a pattern I think that could be pretty unisex for the men that I would knit for, I would like to adapt the pattern to that. They're not just knitting for ladies' feet. So we'll see how that goes. But the yarn that I did buy, I think I mentioned in the last video that I'm planning on using it with like a afterthought heel sock pattern that I have in another pattern book that calls for worsted weight yarn. So I picked up some, I think it's called Swish by the Knit Picks line, and very excited to check that out. So we'll see if I can get to that this next week when I'm off. Otherwise, it'll definitely be coming down the pike, because it's worsted weight, I was able to get through it pretty quickly, and it's just a plain sock. And I also found a sock pattern. It was actually on Knit Picks, but it was a free pattern that I could download, and it's a very vanilla, I guess, sock is what you call it. Very plain, and I'm hoping to use a lot of the sock yarn I have now for something like that. I'm not always so into patterns and just into functionality, like, ooh, I made these socks and I can wear them every day. Great, I can put them in my shoes and they're not just to wear around the house and look decorative, but I can actually get some use out of them. And so that's kind of why I want to knit the socks, because then they're like an everyday thing you can use, of course with care, so then my family doesn't have to send it back to me because they wore a hole in them. As that is something I don't know yet, is how to darn socks or like mend them. I haven't done that yet, and I'm a little scared. Alright, so we just did our 2 rows of cranberry, so the pattern is telling me that I need to do 2 of red again. Well, 2 of red, but I've done 1 of red earlier. So I'm going to cut my yarn and tie it to that last one I did so it doesn't fly away. And I heard my partner come in, so I'm very tempted just to say bye and go eat my food, but I want to get a little further in this, and we're only halfway there, so red. So it's so nice. I woke up, had my coffee, found out about my video being crazy, so I was like, oh darn it, I had to do that again. And then while I was kind of waiting for it to get going, Koji came by, and he wanted to cuddle with me, and so we had a nice cuddle session this morning. I like to call him Scarf Cat, because he'll just like lay on me like right here. When I was in grad school, he was still pretty much a kitten at that time too, but he loved to lie across me and just cuddle with me when I was at the computer. So I always joked, like, he's the reason I'm not getting my homework done, because he keeps lying on me and getting in my way. But I do appreciate that he's so cuddly. He's a lot cuddlier than, or more cuddly than my previous boy cat who had passed away, who's Kokuo. I mentioned him in my other Tempestry Project video, but Kokuo, he kind of did his own thing. He was super chill, like, he loved everybody. He wouldn't hide when we had company. He'd actually come out and, like, want to be pet. But Kabu and Koji, as soon as they hear the doorbell ring, like, as soon as they hear the mail carrier at the door, they are hiding, and they're, like, upstairs, nowhere even near the door, and they're like, ah! So it's really funny how they freak out about everything. And they were both feral, well, semi-feral rescues, so the fact that they had been street cats before, I think, makes them a little bit more leery than a house cat who hasn't really had to experience danger or predators or anything like that. So he was just like, whatever. So everybody loved Kokuo. But he wasn't, like, the most cuddly cat. Like, he'll sit with you. Sometimes he'll come on your lap. But he wasn't, like, seeking you out like a Koji does. Like, even if I'm petting Kabu, like, if he even thinks that Kabu is getting pet, he just wants to be in the action. He wants to come over and meow at you and, like, push her out of the way so he can get your attention. And he's such a ham. It's so funny. And it's so weird because when we first got him, like, at the time, I was basically trying to socialize him, and he was just not having it. Like, it took a long time to get him to even want to be touched. And the way he is now compared to when I first adopted him, it's just like night and day. You wouldn't think he would ever turn out to be this friendly and loving, and it's great. It's a great story. I love it. I love how he figured out that humans aren't scary and bad. So let me know in the comments, are you a cat person? If you're watching my channel, I hope you are. But if you aren't, that's fine too. Cats aren't for everyone. But if you are a cat person, or an animal owner, parent, in general, caretaker, guardian, however you'd like to call yourself, let me know your adoption story or your rescue story, or how you came to be with your newest or oldest animal you have in your life, or any animal in your life in general. It doesn't have to be necessarily your most recent adoption, but what's a good story you have about how you met and came to be in the life of your animal? I always like to listen to those stories, and there's a lot of them online about, like, different animals that get rescued and learn to love and trust, and the people who just have the patience and the understanding to work with them and to go at their comfort level to get them to warm up to them. And I think that's really good. It's always a feel-good story. And speaking of animals, my supervisor should be adopting a kitten, she was already going to adopt the kitten, but she had to stay at the shelter a little longer because there was a widespread outbreak of parvo with some of the younger kittens, so she had to be quarantined to make sure she didn't show any symptoms. And once she was deemed clear, she was able to continue with the adoption process. So if she left work early yesterday for something else, so I don't know if she picked up the kitten yesterday or if she's going to get her today. But her daughter, her youngest daughter, picked the name, and so they're calling her Ivy because she likes to climb. And I was like, oh, that's a great name when she was telling me that. I'm like, that's clever. I like that. But leave it to a kid, to pick a name like that based on the animal's personality. So I like that. Alright, so we just finished our 2 rows of red. Now we do 1 of cranberry, and then we're back to red. And see, this is why the next time I do this, I need to figure out how to carry my yarn, because I keep switching. I'm spending so much time cutting yarn, but I'm so hard-headed, and I'm not even thinking, like, why don't I just slow down, try to do it the way that the pattern said, and carry my yarn and figure out how to do it where I flip it. But I'm like, as slow as I am, as many other projects I have, I don't think I have the time to spare to figure out how to do it so it's like super perfect and neat on the ends and not cut string everywhere. So next time when it's not time pressing, I will do it, because I actually think it'd be nice to do one for my own anniversary or my kitties, like when I adopted them or when they're born. So that would be nice too. And just do this 1 row of cranberry across, and then 2 of red again. So I keep asking you guys to comment if you've done this project, but if you have you only knit 1, or have you knit more than 1? Like for different years, or like all of your family's birthdays or something. Like, let me know what the purpose of the Tempestry Project is or was for you. What motivated you to do this? And then if you were, did you make any adaptations to suit your needs, or did you follow the guideline exactly? Besides, like me, and cutting your yarn at the ends. And it is, it's such a nice day today. It's like gonna be almost 90, but I was so tempted. I'm like, ooh, it'd be a great day to go knit in the park. But then I'm like, there are people at the park. And it's not so much that I don't like people, because I will probably be criticized for saying that, but it's just moving around crowds. I don't like that. I don't like bumping into people. I don't like when people walk too slow, or I walk too slow, so then I have to like move over for them, or they walk slow and then they don't realize they're like hogging the whole walkway, and you're like, excuse me, you know, can you not walk 4 wide? And being outside, and the bugs and the loudness, and just people on their bikes on the walkway, and, you know, saying, on your right, and you're like, okay, I got it. So, I don't know. All the hassles of existing in the world are the things that I just kind of try to avoid. So if I can stay inside, and maybe if I had a patio with like an enclosure, but I would have to move, because there are a lot of animals around, and they like to kind of see what you're up to, or just kind of bark and things, and then you're kind of like hoping for a peaceful moment, and you get interrupted with some other noises. So probably have to go knit in the forest, or I won't be disturbed. So this is 2 of red, I think? Yes, 2 of red. So we're on row 1 of red, and then we have another one. So first things first, I have to reach out to those friends of mine I mentioned that live in the city and say, hey, I know it's been several months. Like, one friend I haven't seen. I did tell her, though, that I wanted to see her before the end of summer. So technically, I am still on track, and I do have something to give her. I knit her a scarf, but I think I might save it for the holiday, because I already knit it, and it was a late holiday gift for her then, last year, so I might just hold on to it. But I want to show you guys what it is, because I still have extra yarn left from it. It was yarn that was donated it was funny because one of my former coworkers, she has since retired, she knit, and another coworker who's still there knits, and she would help her with her knitting because she sometimes wouldn't pay all that much attention. Like she was worse than me, if I can say that in the kindest way possible. And she would drop stitches, or she would buy different yarns and try to knit the same project, even though she didn't pay attention to like the type of yarn she was using or dye lot or anything like that. And she would knit some, and it would be too small, so then she'd try to like graft on another piece, and it was, I think she's still working on that part, but either way, it was crazy. And she had bought this yarn, not really thinking much of it, tried to knit with it, didn't like it, gave it to the coworker who's still there. She looked at it, didn't like it, and so she gave it to me, and because I was still new at knitting at the time, I was like, great, yarn, free yarn, I'll try it. And then I'm like, wow, I really don't like it either. But I managed to make a scarf out of one ball, and I have the other ball, so I'm like, I could just make another scarf, but I kind of want to do maybe a cowl or something else, so I feel like I want to show you guys what I end up making with that, and then show you what I did already complete with the first ball of yarn before I give it over to my friend. So we'll see. But that yarn is, I don't know what you would make with it. And I asked my coworker who gave it to me, I'm like, what would you make with this? And she's like, I don't know. I don't think I want to even think about it because I just don't like this yarn. And I don't know. I could go to the website and see if there are any patterns that use it, but I think they are mostly scarves, honestly, or infinity scarves or wraps and things like that. Maybe a blanket. I mean, it would be a very decorative type of blanket, novelty blanket, but blanket nonetheless. That would take a lot of yarn, though. But either way. So we'll just finish up this row. And I want to say, as I finish up, thank you so much for watching to the end. If you do like my videos, I really do appreciate it, and I'm glad that you like to join me every week when I post a new one. And if you'd like, I would suggest subscribing so that you'll get notifications when I do upload other videos, and just stay part of my knitting community. And I hope that this will give you some inspiration to start your own Tempestry project. And thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.